You're listening to the Shipyard Christmas Pyjama Party. In this episode, there will be discussion on mental health and suicide that some listeners may find distressing. There will be phone numbers at the end of this podcast, as well as links on our website, YouTube, and Spotify accounts to UK and international mental health support groups. We're aware that the festive period can feel isolating and lonely, so please call or email them if you feel like you need to speak to somebody, especially at this time. Thank you. The Shipyard Christmas Pyjama Party, The X-Files, Series 6, Episode 6, How the Ghosts Stole Christmas.
So here we are with the X-Files Christmas episode. They only did the one, because obviously it's not a very Christmas episode show. Season 6, Episode 6, How the Ghosts Stole Christmas, and a legendary episode with legendary guest stars of Ed Asner and Billy Tomlin, which we will talk about as we go through it.
Oh, it's an acting masterclass. I love this episode.
It is. A four-hander. Well, is it a four-hander? Yeah, pretty much.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Let us
I'm
go.
going to press play now. Gothic Mansion and Bing Crosby even on the radio.
And the radio is 10:13.
Yes, I noticed that the other day. That's really cool. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. That's my favourite Christmas song.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's nice.
I love that song. And I love the Luther Vandross version.
Ooh.
I think I have about 12 different versions on my Spotify. I did a thing last year at a Christmas quiz where I cut together like 8 different versions of it and made it as one, and then I did it as a quiz and they had to guess who was singing.
Oh, very good. So Mulder's sitting in the car outside a mysterious house, we'll just call it that, and Scully's turned up with a car full of gifts because she's diverted her from her usual.
When you go shopping for Christmas, do you really have them already wrapped in the back of your car like that?
No.
It's like, all right, so Dark Gothic Mansion.
Yes.
Right, so Scully's got in the car with Mulder.
Well, that's it. If she's A, turned up, and B, got in the car, she's already doing whatever it is he wants her to do. Yeah. He knows that, she knows that, we know that.
She knows he doesn't want to be on his own, and she wants to be there with him anyway.
Yes. And apparently what they're staking out is the former occupants of the house, as in ghosts. I don't know why ghosts and Christmas go together. But
Scrooge.
Oh yeah, of course. I wonder if that was the first one.
Oh, there was another thing on talking about Scrooge. There was something I saw on Amazon, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what it was called, but Dan Stevens played Charles Dickens.
Oh.
And it had, who else was in it? I want to say Patrick Stewart, but I don't think that's right.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was from last year, and it's about how he came up with this story for Scrooge. Oh, Christian Plummer is also in it. He plays Ebenezer Scrooge as he's writing it. He appears in a manifestation of what he's writing, and yeah, that looked really good. So anyway, Charles Dickens, ghosts, X-Files.
Yeah. A pair of star-crossed lovers from 1917 or something, he said.
Listen, I do apologise. We do go off on tangents. As much as we will be talking about the X-Files, we talk about 1,001 other different things too.
That's what you're here for, isn't it? Isn't it?
This is about the 20th one we've done, so if you don't know that by now, where have you been?
Right. If this is your first time because you like the X-Files, we love the X-Files. We're huge X-Files fans.
Oh, total shippers. Welcome, then, if it's your first time.
But that's possibly why we can go off at tangents, because we've seen this so many times.
Probably quite half the series, but basically, well, at least up until Mulder left.
Yeah. Oh, Scully laughing and looking cute because Mulder's just giving her the spiel.
She didn't laugh and smile that much. I think in season 6 was the most she'd laughed and giggled since in the entire series before that combined. Because you've got like Arcadia and
Dreamland. She's quite. What's the one with the is it Three of a Kind, where she's drugged and she goes a bit loopy?
Oh yeah. And what's the one with Luke Wilson?
Oh yes. Oh dear, why is that?
I think season 6 is definitely my favourite season.
Blood.
And is it Hollywood AD was at the end of the season as well, wasn't it?
No, I think that's season 7. Yeah.
But I think season 6 was definitely my favourite season.
Yeah, Mulder's gone into the house, obviously. And apparently the ghosts are a couple who did a murder-suicide pact. So that is significant. And Scully says, oh, you took my car keys, you've locked me out. And Mulder didn't.
No, maybe it was a ghost. Oh, now they're hearing creaky noises coming from upstairs.
I watched the Muppet Halloween thing, the new thing this year. This is frighteningly like it. Except it was Gonzo and Rizzo.
Oh, I might have to watch Muppet Christmas Carol, I think.
Oh, it's the best Christmas film. And it's the best adaptation of Dickens ever. So we will have no arguments.
I think on our quiz next week, Kerry's hosting it, so then there's 3 teams, like me and the other 2. She's designated as all a movie. Sue and Guy have got After Christmas, John and Lou have got Muppet Christmas Carol, and I, of course, have got Die Hard.
Of course.
Like I would choose any others.
I was thinking here about season 6. It's probably the shittiest season overall because of all the episodes we spoke about. Excuse me. Yeah. They're all there's a lot of focus on their relationship and flirtatiousness.
Yeah, because I think up until that point, I think the only other episodes where there's any kind of acknowledgement, I think One Breath is when you really start to notice how much Mulder cares for Scully.
And Memento Mori. It's all very serious emotion, like they love each other because they're about to die. But season 6 is much more. You know what I mean?
And Hollywood AD, at that point, I just think they were sleeping together by then. It wasn't canon.
Oh, it's 11:05 on Christmas Eve. And the clock is still going.
It's funny though, so it's just got to 11:05.
Yeah.
She's only been there 10 minutes. What shops stay open that late on Christmas Eve?
It's America. All of them.
That's a fair point. Yeah, we can't see it through British eyes. It's American, yeah.
Yes. Ooh, that was a very brief flash of Lily Tomlin there.
So, of course, we have Scully debunking the theory.
Yes.
And we know that she's debunking it. We know she's going to be proved wrong.
Yes. But it's quite funny considering, very early on in the series, I should say, when her own father dies and she sees a vision of him when he's died.
Yes. Oh, that's a fantastic episode.
It is Beyond the Sea.
With Brad, somebody playing...
Dorf.
Yeah.
That's a very good shippy episode too, as well as just being...
Yeah. And so early on as well.
Yeah. It's written and directed by Chris Carter. I have to give him props for that because generally speaking, I think the chippiest and best episodes are written by other actors.
I would give him props for this and Triangle.
Yes, totally. I agree. So well done, Chris.
That was so weird though. I stayed there. I was on the corridor thinking, this is where Mulder and Scully was like walked across herself, and I was having proper Triangle moments when I was walking around.
I got your back. Yeah, well done, Mulder. You let her go forward. Go first.
He said chivalry was dead.
Yeah.
Just the ghosts.
He's holding a torch on her, that's fine. Scully's got her back.
Yeah, because I guess a gun wouldn't really work on a ghost, would it? Oh,
Scully thinks there's people living here because there's a light on. Oh. I noticed Scully's got on her heeled boots in this. Very 90s.
Why is it, right? You'd always kind of get a feeling that whenever she wore that outfit or wore the white shirt, she was either going to get stabbed or shot or get blood all over it.
Yeah. If she wore white, there was blood spray coming. Either from her or someone else.
So what was the other one with the photographer?
Unruly was the photographer. Unruly.
Right. Yeah. Oh, great episode, that one.
Yeah. And a great actor. He's been in a lot of stuff. Oh, the fire's just gone out. They've gone into the library and the fire's just gone out. So Scully, of course, believes the whole thing is that there's actual people, not just ghosts. Not just ghosts, not ghosts.
Scully went to Christmas shopping in her work clothes and Mulder's just there in jeans and a t-shirt.
Oh dear.
Things we have murders in the last 80 years, all on Christmas Eve.
Oh, it's a cursed house and a curse on Christmas Eve.
There's that sound again. Just knocking
this
floorboards.
This is the key moment, isn't it? There's something under the floorboards.
I don't notice the floor was actually shaking before.
No, I never noticed that before either.
Then.
Yeah. But I mean, they're used to finding dead bodies and stuff. Oh, and the doors are locked. Now they can't get out.
The thing is that they didn't come through the doors. They came through the ladder thing from upstairs. So the doors may have just already been locked.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But the ladder's gone now.
What? Yeah, see. The ladder has vanished.
It's all getting a bit spooky. Spooky Mulder.
Mulder's such a git.
Classic jump scare.
Proper made Scully jump. Do you think that I wonder if he did that like his improv, that would have probably made her jump.
Yes. I have to say we do have to thank David Duchovny for a lot of the shippiness, because there was a lot of stuff that he made happen. He changed the script, changed things. Oh, and here we go.
You can't tell me David Duchovny was not a shipper after watching Hollywood AD.
Oh yeah, very chipper. When he's lifted the floorboards to reveal a corpse who happens to be wearing Mulder's outfit, and another corpse who happens to be wearing Scully's outfit. Oh, and has red hair.
That must be a bit freaky for them, having to like look at those.
Yes.
Mulder, she's wearing my outfit. That's embarrassing. I haven't got that far yet. I'm preempting it.
You're just preempting.
Like we said earlier, we can quote this verbatim.
Yeah, well, he's wearing your outfit. This is quite a good episode in that it's, jump scares. It's traditional, isn't it? It's traditional scary, not creepy scary.
Old school,
you know what I mean?
Not conspiracy, not bloods and guts. It's more psychological, I think.
Yes, that's exactly it. Psychological.
So they've gone to another door and they've just come into the exact same room, but from the opposite side.
Oh.
Like a Scooby-Doo loop, like when the Scooby-Doo runs past the table, it's like that. They go to one door, and it's the same room again and again.
And like other.
That's a very bizarre analogy. I'm not sure where I got that one from.
Perfect analogy. It's one of these. It's another horror movie trope, isn't it? The whole go out of one room and come back, and you're in the same room.
I will say yes, but I'm not a horror movie fan.
No, that's true.
So
I keep forgetting that. I do apologise.
I tend to like most things. I have quite an eclectic taste, but horror is not my forte.
But just unusual considering you love the X-Files, so you must have had to watch it from behind your fingers.
I was saying to my friend Becky in Pennsylvania, and she goes, I'm going to watch the X-Files, and I knew what it was about. And I said, I don't want to watch it. So I actually left the room and went and read a book somewhere, because I thought it was going to be really full-on horror. And then I got home from work one night when I was back home, and I was doing an evening job at Case Catalogue. Do you remember Case Catalogue?
Yes.
And I finished at 9:30, so I just sat on the sofa, and like my mum made me something to eat, and I thought, I can't bother to move. The X-Files came on the telly, and I thought, I really don't want to watch this, but I can't bother to move either. But it was Dwayne Barry.
Oh yes,
and that was it. That's all it took. It reeled me in, hook, line, and sinker. So
I just have to say, Mulder and Scully are now in separate rooms, and I just want to shout at them: never split the party. Dungeons and Dragons role players will know. First rule: never split the party. and done that and are in separate rooms now.
Ed Asner is in the room. Oh, bless him, he passed away recently, didn't he?
He did indeed. A ripe old age, though. He's
Yeah,
in his
and he was
90s.
Father Christmas in Elf.
He was indeed.
Oh, classic Christmas movie. If you've not seen it, where on earth have you been?
It is a modern classic.
Also, if you haven't seen it this year yet, where on earth have you been?
No, I haven't seen it this year yet. I have to say I haven't watched any.
But it's fine now because we're only on the 9th we're recording this. So, but by the time this goes out in possibly a week and a half,
yes.
You should have watched it by then. Then it's not acceptable.
Yes. Gosh, Ed Asner was even in the Good Wife just a couple of years ago. He was still and Cobra Kai. Well done.
Drink? Take drugs?
No.
Get high?
No.
Are you overcome by the impulse to make everyone believe you? I'm in the field of mental health. I specialize in disorders and manias related to pathological behavior as it pertains to the paranormal.
Wow. I didn't know such a thing existed.
My specialty is in what I call soul prospectors, a cross-axial classification I've codified by extensive interaction with visitors like yourself. I found you all tend to fall into pretty much the same category.
And what category is that?
Narcissistic, overzealous, self-righteous egomaniac.
Wow, that's a category.
You kindly think of yourself as single-minded, but you're prone to obsessive compulsiveness, workaholism, anti-socialism. Fertile fields for the descent into total wacko breakdown.
I don't think that pegs me exactly.
Oh, really? Waving a gun around my house? Huh? Raving like a lunatic about some imaginary brick wall? You've probably convinced yourself you've seen aliens. You know why you think you see the things you do?
Because I have seen them?
Because you're a lonely man. A lonely man. Chasing paramasturbatory illusions that you believe will give your life meaning and significance, which your pathetic social maladjustment makes impossible for you to find elsewhere. You probably consider yourself passionate, serious, misunderstood, am I right?
Paramasturbatory?
Ed Asner is claiming to be a psychologist in specializing in pathological behavior. So he's going to do a little bit of psychoanalyzing on Mulder. Yes.
That hat really does actually suit him. Narcissistic, overzealous, self-righteous egomaniac.
Yeah, that about sums him up.
So it is actually really helpful having the subtitles on.
It is.
You're prone to obsessive compulsiveness, workaholism, anti-socialism.
It's an interesting thing, right? Okay, they are ghosts. We know they are ghosts. We've seen this before.
Yeah.
But how do they know so much about the people that come into the house that they're able to push all their buttons to make them commit a murder-suicide? Which is basically what happens. Every so often, a pair of lovers will come into the house Christmas Eve. The ghosts will get into their mind and make them commit murder-suicide just because they want to.
Maybe because they're ghosts, they're just all knowing. But
must be what it is. Yeah.
The thing is, though, also, I think the fact that they're there at like nearly midnight on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And Scully clearly doesn't want to be here because as soon as they run in the house, she's saying, "You've got my keys."
Yep.
Like she has to go.
Yes.
If they heard that conversation, then they probably think, "Okay, there's something."
Yes, that's very
true. It could stem from that.
Very true. Yes. And I mean, their conversation has been pretty obvious about, even if possibly they could hear them in the car, you know. I know I realise I'm speaking about the realities of a ghost and what their powers are. I realise that's really... Just accept it, Dawn. This is just the way it is, okay?
So you watch these things, you've got to try and have a sense of...
The
there are
world.
things you have to take for granted, but you kind of got... You do analyse. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we...
Yeah.
That's what partly with the shipyard and the pajama parties do. We just
Yes.
analyse it to death. But then you watch something, you need to have some kind of air of believability or relatability. So you want to kind of think, well, how would they know that?
I am a really picky person about stuff that doesn't make sense within their world. You know what I mean? I don't care if I'm meant to believe in ghosts or zombies or aliens or whatever. That's fine. But you have to keep the rules within that world the same.
Yeah.
And you can't just change them for the sake of an easy bit of
It's
writing.
like you have these things and you watch it, now you buy into all of that, but mess with continuity?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's like, no.
It's like, I was just reading about that today. It's something I'd noticed before in the Golden Girls. Dorothy got married because she was pregnant, and she says that was 38 years ago, which would have, or, you know, like about 20, and 21, 22. And yet her daughter, who is her only child, is in college and is like 25 or 23, something like that. And you're like, something doesn't add up.
Yes.
So now we're on...
frozen for the last 10 years.
Yes. Now we're on Scully and her little friend, the incredible Lily Tomlin.
Tomlin, legend.
What a queen.
Where's my partner? Why are you pointing that gun? There were corpses right there underneath the floor. I think maybe the ghosts have been playing tricks on you. I don't believe in ghosts. Then what are you doing here?
He's my partner.
He believes in ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor child. You must have an awful small life. Spending your Christmas Eve with him, running around chasing things you don't even believe in.
Don't come any closer.
I can see it in your face, the fear, the conflicted yearnings. The subconscious desire to find fulfillment through another. Intimacy through codependency.
What?
Maybe you repress the truth about why you're really here, pretending it's out of duty or loyalty, unable to admit your dirty little secret. Your only joy in life is proving him wrong.
You don't know me. And you don't live here. This isn't your house.
You wouldn't think so, the way I'm being treated.
Well, then why is all the furniture covered?
We're having the house painted.
Well, then where's the Christmas tree?
We're Jewish.
I must watch Grace and Frankie.
Oh, have you never seen it? I love it. It's one of my favourite shows of recent years.
We went to Paramount and we got to go around the set of their house.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm jealous. I love Grace and Frankie. Love it so much. Definitely. It makes me laugh so much. And I love the representation of older women. It's a thing I wang on about a lot on these things. I do apologise.
That could be another representation.
Well, there you go.
So not only women, but older women.
Exactly.
This is what doing the degrees like making me think, oh, that's a really good idea. I think I'll start go off on that, and then somebody else will say something, or I'll have a lecture and I'll be like, actually, I could do that. And all these synapses firing off in different directions. And I'm just like, okay, come on, reel them back in. It's like...
Totally my life as well. Never got around to finishing anything. Too many ideas, nothing ever gets finished. That's my life.
That's the thing with uni, though. I have to actually finish stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a change. I don't normally.
Just, by the way, I love Scully's hair in this season. I think it was perfection. It's kind of the same as it was in the Future.
I kind of modelled my hair on this when this came out. I think it was actually nearly that colour.
Oh, wow. Yeah, mine was pretty similar to that, actually, as well. I think a lot of
people will wait for the Scully haircut for a while.
Yeah. The Rachel haircut or the Scully haircut.
I think I have actually been like blonde, accidentally been jet black. And I think I've been every shade, natural shade in between. It's like, I just find all the different pictures and have like a colour chart of my haircut colour.
I've only been varying shades of red and brown. That's it.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually make my blonde darker at the moment, but I'm doing it gradually because obviously, me and the allergies, I've got to be quite careful. So
yeah. Oh, and here she's giving Scully a bit of a psychoanalysis. Subconscious desire to find
through codependency.
Yep, that's it.
I see. And this cast can be infuriating, but this writing is actually quite genius. These two characters are the best non-canon characters I think that have been in the series.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
as guest stars, they're definitely two that stand out. Them and Peter. Oh, Clyde Bruckman.
Oh yes. Oh gosh, his name gone out of my head. Yeah, Clyde
Bruckman. He was a dad in While You Were Sleeping.
Boyle. Peter Boyle.
Thank you very much.
I had to Google it, I'm afraid.
Oh, so now both ghosts are now in the room with Scully.
Yes.
For their violating civil rights.
I was going to say, we talk a lot about how when other characters are like are acting like the audience, but yes, Lily Tomlin's just revealed her massive bullet hole through her stomach. It's not even a bullet hole; it's like a cannon hole.
It is, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
So Scully's reluctantly moving his hat.
And
he's got an equally large hole right to his head. That's really disturbing. That's
very well done, though, isn't it?
You see Scully with the hole in his head. That's just weird.
Yeah, that's even too much for Scully, she thinks. Yeah, I was going to say.
Did you actually see that when he moved, there was light come through that hole in his head?
Yes.
That's really genius. Genius editing or genius makeup. I'm not quite sure which.
Probably a mixture of both. I was going to say, we talk a lot about characters that act as the audience. They're not even acting as the audience. They really are acting as like psychotherapists that that Mulder and Scully should have been seeing.
Yes. I mean, you can imagine the FBI hiring these. They've got them nailed after like 15 minutes. It's like
exactly. And they're speaking to them honestly in a way that nobody ever does. Like,
it's such a shame they're psychotic murdering ghosts. It's like
it is a shame.
That side.
These two do seem
just lonely Christmas tree.
Oh yes,
that's the Yuletide spirit.
Yeah, and that's again that's kind of links back to the moonlighting episode. About being lonely at Christmas. It's a very similar story in the sense of it's about them realizing, hang on, we need each other. We want to be with each other at these times, and it's the same lesson that Maddie learned in moonlighting.
I think that's more molded though, because I think Scully would have been quite happy to go to her family. It might not have been her dream scenario.
No.
But I think she's probably happy to, she wasn't perfectly happy, but she reluctantly or fake reluctantly went to see Mulder.
I think that's
But Mulder, on the other hand, I think because he had nothing else to do.
No.
But actually looking for something that like this because it was New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, or did it fall in? I mean, it's was he specifically looking for something to do to distract him from the fact that he's not going to see his mum, and I'm not sure if his mum had passed away by this episode.
Can't remember. I think so. Yeah. And he's looking for an excuse to be with Scully on an evening where, a holiday, when he doesn't know when he's going to see her again because it's holiday time, and he wants to see Scully, so finds a reason to.
Yeah, Scully wouldn't have invited into her family because of Bill.
No, exactly. Bill, the many fan fiction written about Bill and Charlie. And Bill hates Mulder, and Charlie's the cool brother who likes him. Oh, dear.
He just looks like a kid at Christmas when he watches her take those books up the shelves.
Yes. It's very like the Ghostbusters bit, isn't it? With the librarian.
We watched that at night.
Oh, yeah,
original one.
Classic. One of my favourites.
Surprised they're not streaming the new one yet, because it's been at the cinema for 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah,
They
I
seem to
know.
be pretty instantaneous, don't they, these
Yeah.
days?
Much to actors' chagrin.
Yes, that's a whole other conversation.
Yes. So now Lily Tomlin's working on Mulder, and she's giving him the full story because why not? She's telling him of how they came to be the star-crossed lovers.
See, that's the thing now, is because of like the whole thing we're talking about Maddie. She thinks now that he's suicidal, that he brought them because he wants her and him and Scully to be together forever. That he was going to do murder-suicide, so they'll be together forever.
Yeah.
So she's now was like thinking that he's lonely.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't realise that until you said that. Now, these 2 episodes that we were watching and talking about are about suicide. Wow.
Yeah, next year we really need to find something a bit more cheery.
Thought of A Wonderful Life, because that's where a lot of it comes from, But
yeah, I think it's like Christmas does make you realise and like reevaluate, because Christmas and New Year, especially being so close together. Yeah, it's not surprising people. We're going to have to put another disclaimer at the front of this episode.
I think we will, because obviously,
do you know what? It's fine if we need to. We do, because I mean, it is like people. It does make people reevaluate things. Like you go to see family, or you're not seeing family, or when you New Year. I hate New Year because I always get melancholy at New Year, and it's like I understand it. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's even though this is a very comedic episode, it's kind of the underlying story is really tragic. It's it is a murder-suicide that started all this. Although these are ghosts, it was they were people at one point, and that's how they ended. Because they wanted to also, I think you also realise as a character, especially being at Christmas, you kind of have a real sympathy for Mulder, because you realise how lonely he really is. Yeah, exactly. And also how much he isn't thinking about his own, not mental health, but his own mental situation. It's like nobody's ever spoken to him before, like the way these ghosts are, and saying, do you ever think about, your need for... Really, it shook him, didn't it? When he did Asner conversation, it looked at him and was like, I'm not like that. It's like, well, actually, you are. You are, yes. We love you, Mulder, but you are. Everybody has bent his worldview, and that's hard. And Scully is there for him all the time. And yes, he's there for her. I'm not saying it's a one-way thing, but I think Scully is much more mentally sound than Mulder, in terms of... she's much more stable. Yeah. Much more but it's not... I think the family support... She has, like we've said in other TV shows, she actually has a support network around her. Yes, exactly. I mean, I know Mulder's got the lone gunman, but I think most of the time they're just there for furthering on the story or comedic effect. I don't really imagine him having that in-depth a conversation with Frohickey. No, exactly.
I hope you're not expecting any great advantages to all this.
To all what?
Well, I'm assuming you came here with similar misconceptions.
We came here looking for you.
Oh, yeah? You didn't come here to be together for eternity?
No.
Because you're filled with despair and woeful Christmas melancholy?
Why?
Maybe it was your partner then.
What about her?
You knew this house was haunted.
Yeah.
Maybe you two should have discussed your real feelings before you came out here. I'm speaking from experience.
What experience?
I'm not going to get into semantics. A murder-suicide is all about trust.
I thought you had a lover's pact.
Poetic illusions aside, the outcome, Mulder, is pretty much the same.
Oh.
I don't show my hold to just anyone.
Why are you showing it to me?
Well, it isn't like you're going to be eating any Christmas ham, is it?
She was convincing Mulder suicide, and he's convincing Scully that Mulder will kill her. Isn't he? Yeah. Yes, because he's got no one to go with this Christmas, no one to go with, and a lover's pact. So he thinks he's going to murder. He's trying to convince her murder Mulder.
Starts again. Deep breath.
Mulder will murder
like
her.
Taggart from the murder.
I've only had 4 hours sleep. It's been a bad day.
Oh, note to self, record after Dawn's had more than 4 hours sleep.
Yes. Because otherwise I can't stop. My aphasia is particularly bad.
Right, so Ed Asner is trying to persuade Scully that Mulder is going to kill him.
Yes, thank you.
And Lily Tomlin is trying to persuade Mulder that he's suicidal. So when they do face each other, they think
yes,
that's what the situation is.
Scully's going to hold her gun on him as if, you're not going to shoot me, you weirdo.
Oh, so Ed Asner's just let Mulder into the room.
Yeah, paramasturbatory.
And he's just shot Scully.
Yes.
Or shot at Scully.
Oh no, shot her in the stomach, just like he shot Lily.
Not at that point. Not at this point. I think at this point there's just.
Oh, is it? Oh, you're right.
That's 3.
Yes, always count bullets. No, this is no.
Scully, I don't want to shoot you. I have shot you before, but I don't want to shoot you.
I've done it before. I'll do it again. Is what you should say.
I'll shoot you, Mulder.
It's you or me. One of us has to do it. No, you don't.
364 more short. I can't speak it. Yeah, 365 more days to more loneliness. It's just.
Yes. Although that's not actually Mulder speaking.
So they just shot Scully.
Oh.
Of course, her white shirt is now covered in blood.
Yes. I do like her face, like, you shot me. What are you?
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Yes. They've got inside both Scully and Mulder's head in different ways. They've tried to convince Scully. They're playing on their worst fears. That Scully's worst fears are that Mulder will flip and be a danger.
Yeah, I think both of their worst fears is the other will betray them.
Yes, totally. And Mulder, perhaps even more that is Mulder's worst fear is that he's actually a terrible human being, and Scully is he's holding Scully back, and he's and when it's revealed it's actually Lily Tomlin pretending to be Mulder. Oh,
to be honest, I'd like to see. I've had more information in the last series, the reboot.
Yeah.
Of what actually happened between the second film and the beginning of that season. Why were they no longer together? Why was she suddenly working in the hospital? What happened in that time we didn't see?
Yeah. I'm just saying nothing so as not to swear.
Yes, we're praising Chris Carter for this episode. We won't say any more about it because we don't want to ruin it because it's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Let's be happy. Not
That's
get into
a conversation for another day.
not get into a Chris Carter spiral.
Oh, now Scully has just shot Mulder. So Ghost Scully has just shot real Mulder.
Yes, it's very confusing.
Ghost Mulder has shot real Scully, each thinking it was the actual real versions of the other.
Oh no! Wait, what?
The way she shakes her feet in this, and she's like really excited that she's just shot him.
Yeah.
She's like a giddy schoolgirl. And really,
yes.
Oh, so playing the Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas again. This is the only song they were able to get the rights to for this episode because they were listening to that in the car.
Well, I suppose
I actually think that's why they're playing it, because they were listening to it in the car.
Yes, but also remember they're from 19 whatever. Okay, so they would be, what I mean? It would be a song that they would know. Well,
I think that song was actually out in 1908.
No,
we'll go with that theory.
Yeah, I think it was 1917, but even then, no, I don't think it was out.
I think it was Judy Garland, wasn't it? From, I want to say Easter Parade, but I'm not sure.
No, Meet Me in St. Louis, it's from.
Thank you.
Yes. It's a question I've answered correctly in quizzes before now. Because everybody assumes it's from a Christmas film, but it's not.
Well, it's an Easter parade, so I couldn't have actually been more wrong. It was a holiday film, it's just the wrong holiday. It's like...
It was Judy Garland, at least. Now Mulder and Scully, bleeding from their gunshot wounds, and I use air quotes for that, are crawling their... Sorry?
It's... they locked the doors. They managed to crawl out into the hallway.
Yeah. I'm guessing everything's unlocked now because they think they've achieved what they wanted.
Oh, that's a very action movie pose she's doing there, like on her back, but with her head up with a gun pointing at Mulder. It's like,
yes.
Don't mess with me, punk.
Yes, it is very much. And he's on the... but she can't be bothered.
So they both think they're dying.
Yes.
And they're
not without me or
guns
not.
at each other.
Oh, that's quite...
So
that's
Scully...
quite nice.
Mulder thinks Scully shot him, but yet neither knows that the other one
didn't actually.
They shot them, if that makes sense.
Yes. But I did like that when she said, I'm not going to make it. And he said, not without me or not. It's like, oh, I know that's the whole point of this. It's a lover's pact. We're both going to die. But still, I quite like
So this is when they realise that, like, you shot me first.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't. I didn't shoot you at all.
Yeah. Yes, you did. You did. You shot me. No, you shot me. Wait a minute. Mulder's cottoned on. What's up?
Suddenly he doesn't. It's like,
hang on a minute.
I might be covered in blood, but I can actually move and stand up.
Yes. I don't have a gunshot. They're quite clever ghosts. They're Beetlejuice level ghosts, these ghosts, suddenly.
I love that analogy. That's genius. Let's put that on the thing, and we discuss
Beetlejuice level ghosts.
Level ghosts. That film was so messed up. But
oh, yeah, it is. It's a very good film. And they run out of the house and discover there's absolutely nothing wrong with either of them. They get into their separate cars and drive away. However,
white shirts and t-shirts.
and all of that took place in an hour. So it was kind of real time-ish, wasn't it?
It wasn't. Oh, yeah, I suppose it is.
Yeah. Which is quite good. I do like episodes that do that. We almost had them. Two such lonely souls. Well, that's all right. They've got each other.
So again, these are two. Again, we were talking about Grace and Frankie earlier.
Yeah.
But this is two fantastic roles for older actors.
Absolutely, yeah. And they knock it out of the park as they would do because of their...
I don't know if they were like award nominated for this, but if they weren't, they should have been.
Yeah, I can't remember if they were. I think they were nominated for guest star. I think it's only the Golden Globes that have guest star or is it the Emmys.
Oh, is he watching Scrooged?
He's watching...
Not Scrooge. No, don't worry. Scrooge without the D on the end. Even.
He's watching the Alistair Sim version.
Yes, not Scrooge.
No.
Which is another classic.
It is. Alistair Sim, great actor of many roles. Scrooge was better than his word. Oh, and there's a knock at the door. Oh, it's Mulder's apartment. I could draw it with my eyes closed, Mulder's apartment.
It doesn't have a bedroom in these days.
Yeah. That was Dreamland with his waterbed.
That was 5 episodes before, so it would have a bed.
Yeah.
I like how they incorporated that into Monday.
Yes, I was going to say it was in Monday. Scully's turned up because she's a bit weirded out.
Yeah. Can you blame her, quite frankly?
No.
Well, none of that really happened out there tonight. That was all in our heads, right?
It must have been.
Not that my only joy in life is proving you wrong.
When have you proved me wrong?
Well, why else would you want me out there with you?
You didn't want to be there? Oh, that's self-righteous and narcissistic of me to say, isn't it?
No, I mean, maybe I did want to be out there with you.
I know we said that we weren't going to exchange gifts, but I got you a little something.
Mulder.
Merry Christmas.
Well, I got you a little something, too.
This is one, like, so, you know, so many Christmas episodes, we've said, you know, they're not actually canon, you think didn't really happen. And this one was like, it's the X-Files. Every episode was like this. You're like, did that happen?
I just noticed there's a stocking hanging off his fish tank.
Yes. Look at his computer. It's ancient. Oh, no, it was from the time.
Oh, so would this have been 1999?
Yeah, 99, yeah.
It's pre-millennium episode. It must be if it was 99.
Oh, man. Mulder and Scully's son, William, would be 20 now.
Yeah, enough with that line of conversation.
Yeah, let's not go there. It's Christmas. Let's stop depressing ourselves.
Oh. Yeah, we're really knocking it out of the park with these two episodes, aren't we, in terms of like making ourselves all happy and cheery and festive.
Let's just stick with the Dinner Ladies ones. If you're looking for something really happy.
If you want to be happy, go back and watch Dinner Ladies. These ones a cute ending though. They've just given each other presents and they're like, oh, they're really surprised they bought each other gifts. And
Scully's face when she gives them is like,
oh, she looks so giddy. It's brilliant.
And of course, the ever debate is, what did they give each other? So hers looked like a video. She'd given him a videotape, and his is some kind of tubular item. I'm saying nothing. Fan fiction dealt with that quite a lot.
Oh God, the fanfic! It was like, oh, it was pages and pages dedicated to it, wasn't it?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That was lovely. And despite it was just so, it was nice to just have them be the centre of it in terms of their psychology, you know?
And it was nice, as it was a Christmas episode, for them to actually, and they both seemed happy at the end, which is like...
Yes, totally.
Wow, okay, this is an X-Files episode, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice conclusion.
Yes, it was a rarity to have, you know, you quite often had an open ending in their episodes, or quite a bleak ending. It was nice for a happy ending, that they both kind of acknowledged that they wanted to be there with each other on Christmas Eve. And that was a big step for them, I suppose, at that stage in the relationship.
Another reason for a family to be mad at Mulder, because she ditched them for him.
Yes. I'm sure that happened millions of times by that point. Family dinners and whatever, and she runs off Mulder phones. So it's no wonder they hate them.
That's just like an extra bonus.
Yes. Ever since you got involved with Mulder, you're always dying and being abducted.
She's also, it's why she can't die.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
You know what we're talking about? Go back and watch Nui.
Yes. One of the
Niuhe.
One of the Scully is abducted episodes, of which there are many. But you know, not in that respect. not to side with serial killers, but you can understand why they become obsessed with Scully. She's quite the lady.
Right, should we sum this up then? Because we won't waffle on, because people have pretty got presents to wrap still.
Well, yes, exactly. It's coming towards the time when Mulder and Scully get together properly at the end of season 7, even though that's complicated, but we won't delve into that. So I think it's showing that, as we were saying, you know, season 6 is very shippy, and this is showing that they're starting to admit that the reasons they are spending time together is not always about the X-Files. That it is just about they want to spend time together. And that's kind of what this episode forces them to confront, is that they do want to be together. And the fact that a lover's pact pair of ghosts is attracted to them suggests that their connection is that of lovers, you know?
Is that strong? Yeah.
Yeah. And they
You're talking about them being like spending time together, not just a work thing. I automatically thought of the baseball scene at the end of The Unnatural.
Yes. Fantastic one. Or the is it Je suis with the genie?
Oh, yes.
They end up just sitting on the sofa drinking a beer, I think, in that one, and watching TV or watching a movie. So it did start to show that they were just hanging out together on their downtime.
A lot more comfortable with each other by this season.
Yeah, totally. And I think that is nice for it to be so flirtatious and light in such a series with so much darkness, especially with the Scully's cancer arc and the Christmas Carol and Emily, you know, all the stuff about her fertility.
And then stuff. I think the movie had happened by this point, so they'd been to the Arctic.
Yes. And they'd almost kissed and then never talked about it because...
Yes, the almost kisses that never get mentioned ever again in every single TV show.
But yes, X-Files is a classic, and Ed Asner and Lily Tomlin are two of America's best.
Yeah, superb performances from both of them in that episode.
Yeah, and
the X-Files is definitely one we're going to come back to.
Oh yeah.
It's just, on the one hand, it is a masterclass, and also it's a bit like Moonlighting. I think in some ways it was fantastic, and in other ways it's the most infuriating show at the same time.
Yeah,
it's literally. I think when you have shows that are that phenomenal, they can fall from grace quite spectacularly.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And it is a bit like Moonlighting in that there's several factors that go into it. You know, these things are never straightforward. But this,
unlike Moonlighting, I think Gillian Anderson's pregnancy actually created so much of the what's the word? The mythology that went through it.
Yeah. It would have been a totally different show. So, you know, there's lots to talk about. But as this is Christmas, we're just talking about the Christmassiness of it. And it's,
it's nice. So, I mean, you get just sitting around the Christmas presents at the end. And like you say, Scully's face at the end just lit up. It's just like, that's so cute.
And not a sign of mistletoe, sadly. We had to wait for New Year's Eve millennium for that.
I think you get a few cute Scully smiles in that episode because half the time it doesn't happen that often.
No.
So it's often usually very dark and very straight-laced, but this is, even with the ghosts and the content we discussed, it is quite a few cheery moments in it.
Yeah, it's quite sad, but it's also optimistic. Because Mulder isn't lonely so much now because he's got his Scully. Oh.
Yeah, it's about the Christmas episodes, isn't it? That they make you realise that you're not by yourself. You might think that. It might make you go think the worst, but then actually situations actually prove you wrong and say, actually, you know what? This is what your life is really like. This is who is there for you. Yeah. This is what you should be grateful for. And it was a nice conclusion.
Yes.